How you guys doing? Pure Flora Organics here with another video. I'm gonna just show you guys what I've been working on in the past couple, months. I haven't been uploading like I usually do. That's gonna change. I'm gonna start uploading a lot more often. I'm gonna show y'all what I've been working on. I've been working on a lot of KNF. I've been perfecting my super soy recipes, and I'm gonna show you some of that KNF. Let me know if you guys want to see that in another video. Maybe I'll just make a video of it anyway, just to show you guys. Because it is what I've been working on. So, to show you the super soil, how frosty it is. It's all the mycorrhizal. I mean, this stuff stinks. It's got shrimp meal, crab meal, see the pineapple cores. Got some old leaves in there. Got strawberry tops, Um, orange, what is that? Orange peels, old leaves, and a lot of mycorrhizal. I mean, this stuff is everywhere. I'm gonna show you guys also how to get your mycorrhizal and how to get your soil this frosty, so it fills up the whole pot, the whole load, not just a couple spots. So first of all, I'm gonna give y'all the measurements. I add about a half cup, about 100 milliliter, half cup of each of these dry mimics. It's nothing too secretive, honestly, and it's not like a precise measurement. You don't have to get it perfect. A little more or a little less, the microbes will make up for it. So basically, show you guys what I add. A little kelp meal, I add crab meal. A lot of times, here in the East Coast, we live close to the ocean. I get a lot of, good seafood. So I rarely ever use this crab meal. Because I just get crabs, crush them up, you know, same thing. Got this granular humic acid. Got blood meal for nitrogen. Alfalfa meal. It's got a lot of different nutrients across the board. Langbeinite is good because it has sulfur in it. And your sulfurs are good for when your flowers, if you're growing flowers like out front in your yard and you want them to smell nice, or you're growing roses, anything like that, anything with a nice hint to it that you want to amplify sulfur, adding sulfur is very good, which is another ingredient I'm gonna get into in a minute. Oyster shell, it's got a lot of calcium in it. It's good for that. Good for building strong stems and, fruits and flowers. Fishbone meal. I'm very adamant on adding marine products. I love marine products. Like anything from the ocean. I love it. It really adds a nice vigor to my plants that, you can't find in many other ingredients. Add feather meal, add shrimp meal, but I barely use this because, just add my own shrimp shells in there. Fish meal and green sand. This is important for soil building. It's a good soil, it adds very good texture to it. And it has a lot of minerals in it. It's very good. A lot of sea minerals. And another thing I add, I'll go over here. Another thing I add is this garden lime, which has, oh bless me, has a pretty good chemical analysis on it. I also add this BioLab. As far as soil goes, my base soil, I just use Happy Frog and Ocean Forest. And I also add bone meal, but any base soil will do. If you want to use Roots Organics, if you want to use Black Gold, or if you just want to use some soil out in the yard and, compost it up, you can, do that. But me, I tend to go a little bit extra. Also add azomite, worm castings. I also add Alaskan humus but I don't have the bag to show you. And sometimes I also add guanos and bone meals. You know, that's the last of it over there. But I also add bone meal, back guanos. I didn't use these this time. I used the Mexican guano and some of the Bud Swell guano. And I have a few doubles of things. Because I tend to go through them. Another thing that I use a lot of, well, that I'm starting to use more of, because I didn't really used to use it much, but it's Epsom salt. I got this from a friend of mine. This is, garden Epsom salt, so it's, good for use in the garden. Another ingredient that I'm going to give you guys the game on that, one of my secret ingredients in my stash is actually cocoa powder. I use cocoa powder in my super soil, yes. The reason why is because if you ever looked up the nutritional benefits, the mineral content in cocoa powder is very high in a lot of different minerals. Manganese, magnesium, zinc, iron, copper, a lot of things. Molybdenum. See, iron 10%. 10% of this, container analysis is iron. 2% potassium. There's a lot of other things that's not on there that are also beneficial for it. And another thing that I like to use is coconut. I don't have any coconut powder right now, but if I had some, best believe I'd pour it in there. And this right here is my FFJ. It's part of my IMO. IMO stands for Indigenous Microorganisms. Which is, one of the projects I've been working on, my KNF. It's actually pineapple rinds. A lot of pineapple juice in there. And basically the point is to ferment the juice. Ferment, plant juice, ferment the fruit juice, ferment herb juice, ferment whatever. And the point of that is to, if you're using it for medicinals or whatever you use it for, you can increase your terpene content, your ester content, your alcohol content that your plants produce. And, one thing I like to do is I like to have my plants at a higher temperature, so a lot of those terpenes that are, at a lower, more volatile at a lower temperature burn off, so it gives room for more terpenes. And this is banana. This is pineapple. I'm, about to cut up some mangoes pretty soon. I did strawberries a couple of days ago. And yeah, and I'm going to show you guys the recipes for my microbe solution. I use milk and molasses. I'm going to show you guys how I use that too. And another thing, am I forgetting something? Yes, I also use rice. This is, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, arborio rice. It's a type of rice they use for like risotto or, stuff like that. And I also use oats. These are good for the microorganisms. So, they latch onto them. Mainly because of the carbohydrates. Mainly because of the starches, the carbohydrates that are in the oats, that are in the rice, that are in the fruits, They feed on that, and they go crazy on that. So, another thing I add is Great White. Great White is, a microbial inoculant. That's why it's so frosty. I add all that. I use, kelp extract. And I use, I actually use Mammoth P. I'm using a new product called Fish Shit. It's literally called Fish Shit. So, it's supposed to be, it's unrealistic, it's supposed to be, good for, microbial inoculation and microbial overall, microbial population in the soil, things like that, all the good stuff. Because, I don't really use salts except maybe magnesium sulfate, I guess, if you want to call that a salt, but, and I actually literally do use pink Himalayan sea salt, in my feed, in my, in my compost. It's good for my tomatoes. It's actually good for collard greens. It makes your collard greens taste like never before. It's good for okra. It's good for spinach, bok choy. Growing all that this season. I'm gonna, probably plan to show you guys some of that too. So stay tuned and stay tuned for KNF recipes. A lot of the Korean natural farming techniques I've adopted in my own garden, and I've just never looked back. Let me see, am I forgetting something? I'll just show you all the soil one more time. And all this mycorrhizal glory. Just look at those webs. Looks like mold. That green stuff right there actually is mold, but don't worry. All this mycorrhizal will compete. Anything that shouldn't be there, it's not, ripe for soil biome. It will be outcompeted and, be taken care of. But I'm going to add the Epsom salt, some of that cocoa powder. Those are the last couple ingredients I actually needed to add before I stir it up again. I stirred it up once when I added all this stuff, let it frost out, stir it up again. It's probably going to frost out again. And stir it up one more time. And, you just keep repeating that cycle. And the way you know it's done is when it stops stinking. Because this shit stinks. Like, it smells because you add all those fish ingredients and ocean, animals, crustaceans and all that. It's going to smell. And, it doesn't look like it smells good, does it? But eventually, in a couple months, this will all be pitch black. You won't even be able to tell what was in here. Like, you literally won't be able to recognize any of it. And another thing is when it stops being hot is when you know it's done. Because right now, like, if I stick my hand in there and actually feel it, it will probably, wouldn't be a good idea to stick my hand in there. But if you were to do that, you would actually feel it's physically hot. Like, really, really hot. Not really hot, but it will be, like, actually physically hot. Like, stick your hand in there, you can feel it. And how you know it's done is, over time, it'll stay hot for days, weeks at a time, maybe even a month or so. And that's how you know when it's done. When it cools down and when it stops, when the smell stops going from a bunch of, rotten vegetables and, sea creatures, when it stops stinking and starts smelling like fresh black gold, you will know that it's done. We're making super soil here. We're not making no fucking Miracle Grow. This stuff is legit. You add this to any plant, you might have to adjust the soil texture. Maybe you're doing succulents, things like that. But when this is done, I'm going to show you guys that too. Show you guys the whole process. Then when I get the garden started, I'm going to show you guys that too. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys are doing good. Hope all y'all, hanging in there during this COVID-19 coronavirus, just when I'm shooting this video in the midst of it all, here on the East Coast, it's not as bad, but, it's pretty bad everywhere. Just thought I'd give y'all this video, help y'all out with y'all soil, I can't really keep all this knowledge to myself. I gotta share it with somebody. And who better to share it with than you guys? Hope all you guys taking this time to, really start your gardens, reflect, do things that you haven't had time to do. You know what I'm saying? All those projects that you were too busy for, hope you get those done. You know what I'm saying? So you don't, totally, lose it. Me, I've been actually fine, Not saying it's a good thing, but I've always, been, never really went out too much, Still got a couple things from the store, you can still go out and do that now. So it hasn't really affected me too much, but I know a lot of people out there are hurting. A lot of people out there, aren't as fortunate as I may be, may not know how to grow their own food. So hopefully this video can show them that you can grow, your food pretty easily. You can create your soil because it starts with your soil. You can grow anything, as long as you have the right soil. And this is teaching them from the root, literally from the ground up, how to feed themselves. So the soil feed their plants and their plants can feed them, which is, what it starts with. If you don't have good soil, then you're not going to have good plant growth. Not to say they won't grow, they just won't be good. They might not even taste good. But I guarantee you, if you follow my methods, follow along, you know, use your kitchen scraps, get a tote. You may not have to get a big one. You may want to get a bigger one, you know what I'm saying? You do whatever you guys want to do. Just follow along. I'll show you guys how to be sustainable, how to make soil, relatively cheaply and, almost for free, basically. If you use your kitchen scraps, use your old, compost, use your old stems and leaves from your old garden, a lot of of my raised bed, I took a lot of that, a lot of the dead stuff and just threw it back in here, sitting at the bottom. I threw it back in here, composted it, let it amended it, let the mycorrhiza do its thing. I just let the microbiology do its work. I'm just here to make sure everything goes right. So, once again, love you guys. Make sure you guys are growing happy growing, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys spread the love, make sure you guys spread the info. And I will be doing the same here pretty soon. I'm probably planning to upload another video tomorrow about my, fruit ferments. It's literally fruit juice. I ferment it to get a lot of the benefits from it. Bananas are good and, potassium, things like that. You can't really juice a banana. It's kind of hard. So I'm going to show you guys how I get the, basically banana juice. And how I do the pineapple. And I'm going to show you guys, all the other ones as well. So, once again, show you guys this. The mycorrhiza was so strong, it actually grew on the lid. Like the spores and everything. It's actually growing on the lid. So, I hope you guys, spread this info. I'm going to end this video because, I'm starting to ramble. So, peace.